I better just jump on some of this now, because we have word. Granted, we got to treat them as rumor, because, you know, it's not big number of sources, but they're consistent, and they've been apparently been proven pretty accurate in the past. The test screenings for Picard have gone disastrously wrong. And also some little bit scenic of the transom in the wee hours that Kurtzman is finally gone. If not actually, then at least in all actual, you know, effective authority. He may still have the title, he may still be getting paid, but apparently he is barred from the lot. They've got showrunners in over the place to replace him. He's not allowed anywhere near the show, so he's refusing to give up any titles. But for all effects and purposes, his ass is toast. They're not letting him do anywhere near anything. He's not listened to. He's, you know. It may be a case of too little, too late. I mean, what they've got out there just cannot be salvaged. I'm sorry. If they are so committed to Patrick Stewart, then expect a major delay as they totally rework the Picard show. Because if even after all the changes they've had to go through, they still can't get this thing to fly. It's like, okay. Because some little bean counter's mind, might, you know, figure it is cheaper to do a total redo from, you know, from get-go rather than just write off the investment. But yeah, I think Kurtzman has finally outlived his usefulness at CBS. Which of course begs the question: it's like, guys, what took you so damn long? We figured this out, you know. You know, some of us had figured out in 2009 anyway, associated with the JJ tracks. Is not be worth it, and especially with Into Darkness. You know, I know my kid sister loves that movie, but no, that was so wrong-headed, and it was preventable because before they really even started production, they floated there are these polls when they're about what any kind of thing to, you know, any previous storylines to revisit with reboot, and whenever Khan would come up, it would be a resounding no, do not do Khan. What do? They do Khan. And they wonder why there's blowback. And why, you know, at the Vegas Con, Into Darkness was voted the worst movie of the entire franchise. Okay? Granted, it's con-goers, so it's a very partisan group. But that still should speak volumes of what the hardcore fan base thinks of your movies. They hate them! Okay? And any franchise you're trying to move forward with, you have to have the support of the longtime fans. You cannot say, we don't need those old fans. No, you need those fans. Because there's only, you got to at least have a significant portion of them, or at least not piss them off. Let's say this new Magnum show, okay? There are some people who never accept it. I'm a little iffy on it, but it's good. It's a decent enough show that I'm not going to go out and march the streets and say, only Tom Selleck. No, it's all right, okay? There's some interesting wrinkles on it that you can do with a complete reboot, you know? Like Higgins is now suddenly a hot babe in a former MI6 thing, and you can have a little tension there between her and Magnum. But when you've got a franchise with as passionate a fan base, rather than as passionate, because Trekkie Santa hold a distinction there, but you can't just replace your fan bases. Okay, that's something they have yet to figure out. You can't just replace them because we have to bring them along. Okay. And something I said all the time, who is going to want to watch a Star Trek show that Star Trek fans don't like? Because that's not exactly a ringing endorsement, is it? You gotta, you know, if not, you know, suck up to the fans, at least not piss them off, you know? And Kurtzman and, you know, Ryan Johnson, because, you know, answer to Rob Burnett's thing about, why, I mean, yeah, I can see in the eyes of the studio, yes, The Last Jedi was a successful film. But I think even they are not so blind to not realize the damage that movie has done. That is why Solo bombed so badly out of the gate. It was a reaction to, and look at it this way. When Star Trek Nemesis came out, the industry, it didn't even open. The box office was so horrible. It lost to a J-Lo rom-com. Everyone else moved out of the way. There were no other big budget movies that weekend. Star Trek Nemesis was it, and it lost to a Jennifer Lopez romantic comedy. Okay? And what didn't help is the word of mouth, and it was also a bad movie on top of it. Yeah, opening weekend, that's going to be a response to whatever the state of the franchise is at that moment. If it had been a good movie, it could have recovered. Same thing with Solo. It did not open well. It did not do well initially because of a reaction to The Last Jedi. This was the fans' chance to say, we're not happy. We're not going to support your film. And if it's not a good movie, and add insult, it's like, guess what? Then you've really got a problem. And you get the only Star Trek, Star Wars movie in the franchise to lose money. If Alex Kurtzman is still drawing a paycheck, that's a credit to his agent and his lawyers, because he has no real authority. He became a punchline very quickly in the community. In fact, he's very close to becoming like an adjective or a verb. Oh, they Kurtzman that up, didn't they? But yeah, it's like not even Disney is so blind to not realize the damage the Last Jedi has done. That's why you've seen some sort of subtle changes here and there. And I think at the last celebration, I think that's why they started, kind of, let's push Filoni a little further front. People still like him, and what he's doing responds well with fans. And it's basically whether how much Kathleen Kennedy's even being kept in the loop here as far as story goes, because she didn't know Leia was going to be in Rise of Skywalker. So things are changing. They're coming around, but franchises of this size and complexity, it makes Turn of the Titanic look like a ski course. So, patience, Padawans. They'll come around, but we got to keep at it. Keep their feet to the fire, because we start thinking they're getting complacent. Okay, we're fine. Because another thing about studios that they will always go for the path of least resistance, which means just churn out some schlock with a name on it and they'll buy it. And we got to show them no. We are a little more discerning than that. And before anyone says, what about the third season of Discovery? Yeah, again, got to go back to the present of Winona Earp. It has been renewed for another season. God knows when that's going to happen, because there's no money. Nobody's willing to put up money for another season of that show. And yeah, on paper, it's renewed. I think it's the same thing with Discovery. On paper, it's renewed. But someone's got to pony up for it. These shows are not made on charity. And again, we're willing to start digging through the trades and looking at following different actors, see what they're signing up for. Michelle Yeoh's already signed up for something else, so guess what? No Giorgio show for the foreseeable future. Not that there would be anyway, because remember, she went into the future with Discovery. So how are you going to have a Section 31 show if your supposed lead is 1,000 years in the future? Doesn't work that well. Unless she's going to rebuild Section 31, which makes no freaking sense. But then nothing else in the show ever did anyway, so. You got to think these things through, guys, okay? You can't just throw shit on the page and expect it to fly. Especially a show that normally is as grounded as Star Trek. Even Star Wars, though, you need to think things through. And in retrospect, Force Awakens really doesn't hold up that well if you start thinking about it. There's a few things that, should have been established better. Some of the pacing was a little weird because they had there was stuff on screen really to set up why Rey could suddenly fix the Falcon in no time flat. Because they kind of show her monkeying around with that old walker and then digging around and stuff and knowing this stuff and trading this and I think maybe they showed her monkeying with that speeder of hers a little bit. Established that she's a bit of a technical whiz. That might have, that would have sold the scene better of her, suddenly, enabling the Falcon's hyperdriving or whatever it was that happened. So that you had the seeds there of a good movie. And also, again, someone, whether it was, I've been here, it was Kathleen Kennedy, but somebody said to start pushing the new characters real hard, and it's like, screw the legacy characters. But no, you have to, again, you got to service the fan base to a certain extent, okay? You got to get the old guard on hand, or they're not going to bring the new guard along. So, Mark Hamill's still going, missed opportunities. You should have had the old gang all together. At least one shot. Harrison Ford is a little too eager to kill off Han, I think. And thing is, if you're really, no matter how far you want to push the cheese, you could still possibly eke out an explanation of Han still being alive. Okay. The saber missed the vital organs. He sucked into an actress, something or other, and someone sucked him away to, you have a whole adventure of how he got spirited away from Starkiller Base before it went bluey. And he's still got a big, big ass scar or something, maybe in a complete hole through it, but he's still alive. Again, that would be a measure of how much we want Han back and how much the audience is going to tolerate. And that's sort of the category of, well, it's science fiction, we do what we want. No, within reason, okay? You got to explain it. You don't just have him show up like Danny Aiello at the end of Hudson Hawk, a couple of one-line explanations. But I saw you block. Hey, it doesn't work that way. So, PayPal, Patreon, yada 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 down below. Things are progressing nicely here, but always need help. Always need more subs. I would like when we finally get into a place to have a nice established foundation for this channel. So keep it coming, guys. We can do some good stuff here. So catch you later.